So that's where we're.
John, I put his shirt on and I try to stop bleeding and I try to give him CPR.
You did everything that you could.
I knew that. That's what I did. That's why I told you to just be quiet. Because I couldn't stand sit there and listen to you talk that bullshit and you're the one responsible for her death.
Kendra May Farler was 15 years old. She had her whole life ahead of her. And then she didn't. Because in April 2024, someone shot her in the chest with a shotgun inside her own home in Dayton, Ohio. And the person responsible? Her own father. Kenneth Paul Farler III had over 40 arrests by the time he was 39, drugs mostly. And when police arrived at the scene, he had a story ready. He told them his 15-year-old stepson, who is nonverbal and autistic, had accidentally pulled the trigger. Let that sit for a second. A man with decades of criminal history, pointing the finger at a child who cannot speak for himself. What follows is one of the most infuriating investigations I've come across. The lies, the deflection, the absolute audacity. If you want to see how the system finally caught up with him, subscribe now, because this story is about to get worse before it gets better.
911 with location of your emergency. Okay, what is the please?
She's been shot! She's been shot! I don't know! She's been shot! Please!
Man, what is the...
No!
And who shot her? Who shot her?
Please hurry! Please
Man, who shot her? Ma'am, can you hear me?
That call, you can hear it. The panic is real. Kendra's stepmother is screaming, and the dispatcher is trying to cut through the chaos to get one answer. Who shot her? And here's what makes this even more disturbing. Just 4 days before this 911 call, there was already a warrant out for Kenneth's arrest. Probation violation from a cocaine trafficking conviction in 2023. He knew law enforcement was closing in on him. So when first responders arrive at that Bowen Street apartment and find a dying 15-year-old girl, he doesn't hesitate. He points directly at his nonverbal autistic stepson, a child who literally cannot defend himself or explain what happened. That's not panic, that's calculation. And it tells you exactly who Kenneth Farler is.
Who shot her?
My stepson, he's autistic. He had no... It was an accident, ma'am. He's autistic. He had no idea what he was doing.
Did you catch what he just said? He had no idea what he was doing. Kenneth is already building a defense before his daughter is even cold. And here's what the clip doesn't tell you. This man has over 40 arrests between ages 19 and 39. 40. Mostly drug trafficking. He knows exactly how interrogations work. He knows how narratives get constructed. So when he immediately volunteers that his stepson is autistic and frames it as an accident, he's not grieving. He's strategizing. Think about what that takes. Your daughter is bleeding out, and your first instinct is to craft a legal shield using a child who cannot speak for himself. Investigators now have to work through a father weaponizing his own stepson's disability. That's the ethical nightmare they walked into.
What happened?
Where is she? Where's the gun?
Upstairs. Go up to the right. Back half the blood airflow over down.
Is the gun up?
Yeah, they're going shooting.
Where's the gun?
Listen to that chaos. Officers shouting over each other trying to locate the weapon and establish basic scene control. This is what first responders walked into. A father already directing traffic and a 15-year-old girl with a shotgun wound to the chest. Here's what matters about this moment. Crime scene integrity is everything. Evidence gets contaminated, stories get coordinated. And Kenneth? He's had decades of practice with police. 40 arrests means 40 opportunities to learn how cops process a scene. So while officers are scrambling to secure the gun and assess the situation, he's watching. He's calculating. The chaos benefits him. Every second of confusion is another second his narrative has room to breathe. These officers don't know yet that they're dealing with someone who treats police procedure like a game he's played before.
Let's get out and do protective sweep.
Yep.
Okay, I think somebody else rolled up with a car.
Okay. Come on, sir. Come with me. Fader, will you take
Yeah, I'll
him?
take the first guy.
Yep. Go with that officer there.
Gloves.
What? No, not yet.
It was a kid.
Nope.
Whoa,
Stop.
What are you doing?
Hey.
Whoa.
Relax.
Why are you being so aggressive?
Leave your phone.
I'm on the phone with my grandmother.
Let go.
Give him your phone.
Why are you doing
Let
that?
go.
Give him
You're
your
gonna go to
phone.
the ground.
Stop.
What?
This is Dad. He was in the room.
Hey, whoa.
He was in the room.
Whoa.
It's okay. Come on. You're fine. Come on.
I need your papers.
I just have to ask.
Okay. It's okay. Come with me, okay? You're fine. You're fine. Okay, you're fine. Are you mom?
There it is. Why are you being so aggressive? That's Kenneth's first instinct when officers try to secure him. Not grief, not desperation to get back to his dying daughter. Resistance. And here's what you're watching underneath all that noise. The stepmother arrives, and she's immediately separated from Kenneth. That matters. Police learned a long time ago that suspects who coordinate stories in the back of squad cars become much harder to break. These two haven't had time to align their versions yet. Whatever she tells detectives in the next few hours will either match his account or it won't. And given what we know about the chaos inside that apartment and Kenneth's history of manipulation, the cracks are about to show.
Who are you to her? Just talk with me. You're what? Stay here. Oh, you're a mom? Are you mom? Your stepmom? Okay. What's your name, miss? Jennifer, do you have anything else on you that I need to know about? No? Okay. I'm just going to do a quick sleep. Keep your eyes right. Okay. Okay. Over here. Step right in here, okay? Okay. Okay. Just swing your legs, okay? Jennifer.
234 is check up.
Can you tell me what happened?
234 is cancel.
No, still 38.
Hold on a second.
His friend brought the gun in the room to show him.
Okay.
And he stepped out for minutes, came in the bathroom.
Who did?
Greg.
Okay.
Then he left it in there. My son grabbed it and picked it up.
Okay.
And he
Okay.
and she was sitting with me.
Okay. Was she sitting down?
She was standing
She was
at the door.
standing at the door? Okay. Who was the friend that brought it in?
Greg.
Greg brought it in?
Yeah, it was his guy.
Okay. Okay. So is that dad? No.
Dad's friend.
Dad's friend is Greg.
Yep.
Who's dad?
Dad is Kenny.
Kenny? Okay. So Kenny's dad, Greg's the friend who brought the gun in. Does Greg live with you guys?
He lives in the other room.
So the stepmother Jennifer lands on scene and immediately starts filling in details. A friend named Greg brought in the gun. Greg lives in another room. And Kenneth, Kenny, is dad. Now here's what Jennifer doesn't know yet. She's handing investigators a map of everyone who had access to that weapon. Every name she drops is another thread to pull. And notice how quickly she volunteers information, compared to Kenneth's calculated resistance just minutes earlier. She's not lawyering up. She's not strategizing. She's a woman in shock, trying to make sense of chaos. That contrast matters. Because when two people in the same household tell the same story differently, one of them is lying. And Kenneth has 40 arrests worth of practice at exactly that.
No!
Who are you?
I'm the grandma.
Grandma? Okay.
I was bringing my son food.
Is your son?
Greg.
He's Greg? Okay.
Okay. What is going on? What's happened? Please, God, no! Don't tell me.
Okay.
No!
Right now, we're figuring it out.
Where is?
It does not look like it was on first.
But who? Where?
So that's where we're.
No!
Can you
No!
I gotta take this with me, Kim?
He's not going to be able to eat it right now. If you.
I don't
You guys-
want to deal with the push here, but that's not the point.
Where's Greg?
Okay. Okay.
Where's
Is he?
He's here. Everybody else. No, he's under arrest right now. Everybody's detained until we figure out he's going on. There-
No! No! God, no!
And now Grandma arrives. Watch her reaction. That raw devastation you just heard? That's real grief. That's a woman learning in real time that her granddaughter might be gone. She's not calculating anything. She's not building a defense. She's falling apart. Meanwhile, Kenneth is somewhere nearby being detained. The same Kenneth who just 4 days earlier had a warrant issued for violating probation on a cocaine trafficking charge. The same Kenneth with over 40 arrests to his name. He knows exactly how this process works. Grandma doesn't. She showed up with her son's food, thinking it was a normal day. Now she's watching officers process a crime scene that involves her family. The people who genuinely loved Kendra, they shatter. The person who killed her, he strategizes.
I'm in shock. I don't even know what to do. I don't even know how to feel.
It'll take a minute for it to all set in. I'm very sorry for your loss.
She's a great kid. She don't do nothing wrong. She was so smart. I put his shirt on her. I tried to stop bleeding, and I tried to give him CPR.
You did everything that you could.
He didn't mean to do it. I know he didn't mean to do it. He don't understand. He don't know any better.
He didn't understand what it was.
He plays Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty and stuff on Xbox, and I don't know if he just seen it. He was sitting on the bed, and I don't know if he's seen the shotgun next to the cabinet or what. All I heard was the shot, and by the time I turned around to come out of the bathroom, I seen her laying on the floor. Oh my God. Oh my God. I gotta call her mother's family. One of these officers have my phone.
We'll get it back to you, okay?
When I get out, can I get my phone when he lets me out so I can call her?
We'll call. Let's see, okay? I have to confirm with the detectives. They're in charge.
He plays Grand Theft Auto. That's the explanation Kenneth lands on. His 15-year-old daughter is bleeding out from a shotgun wound, and he's citing video game exposure as a motive for his nonverbal stepson. This is a man who has spent 2 decades learning how to build plausible deniability on the fly. 40-plus arrests teach you exactly how much detail makes a story sound credible without being provable. Notice how he sandwiches "he didn't mean to do it" between praise for Kendra. Smart kid, great kid, never did anything wrong. He's constructing a victim profile that makes the shooting seem even more senseless and random. Because random accidents don't have guilty parties. Random accidents have tragedies. And tragedies have sympathetic fathers, not defendants.
Baby, there we go.
Oh, you're so much. Different gone, baby. Different gone. Dead, baby. Why did you tell me to do that? It's time slow.
What happened?
Why I picked up Greg's car, put the trigger, he didn't have. He didn't know what he
Where's
was.
Mommy? Where's Mommy?
She's over in another car. She's
She's talking to an officer right now, okay?
I need you right now, baby.
Just give your dad a big old hug. He needs a big love hug, okay?
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. But we're gonna leave the state, baby. We're gonna get away from it. My poor baby. My poor baby. We gotta stay strong, baby.
You're good.
We have to stay strong.
Watch him with that other daughter. Give your dad a big old hug. We have to stay strong. This is a man who shot one of his children hours ago, and he's already performing fatherhood for the cameras. Here's what makes this moment land different when you know his background. Kenneth has been arrested over 40 times. He knows exactly how footage gets used in courtrooms. He knows sympathetic family moments play well in front of juries. So when his surviving daughter runs to that police car in tears and he holds her tight, that's not comfort. That's a man building Exhibit A for his defense. Look at me, I'm a loving father. Loving fathers don't shoot their daughters. Except this one did.
We ain't gonna play games. You weren't asleep.
100% I was asleep. 100. I swear to God, 100.
You just had the gun shooting it off the kitty.
No, I did not. Absolutely 100% not. You get to see my bed where I rolled out of bed. Ask whoever was in that bed. Ask 100%. I was asleep. Absolutely. 1,000,000%. There's not even a question.
I just talked to Jennifer and Kenny, and neither one of them say you were asleep.
Because Thursday Christ sake, I just woke up and ran in there. I said, "What's going on?" I literally had 1 second, turn the corner.
Where'd you wake up from? It happened in your room, wasn't it?
No, absolutely not. My bedroom's the other one.
Now we're getting somewhere. Kenneth's brother just crumbled under basic questioning. 1,000,000% I was asleep. Say it louder, maybe that'll make it true. Here's the thing about family alibis. They only work when everyone rehearses the same script. Jennifer says he wasn't asleep. Kenny says he wasn't asleep. But the brother is swearing on God he was unconscious when the shot went off. Somebody's math isn't adding up, and investigators just caught the discrepancy in real time. You can see the stress hitting him, the rapid-fire denials, the religious invocations, the desperation to establish he was nowhere near that room. This is what happens when Kenneth's carefully constructed house of lies meets actual police work. The story fractures the moment you separate the witnesses and ask basic questions.
Stepson.
Take the
child.
Come in.
Take the child out.
Come here.
I thought you was the same.
Are you lying to me? Whose room is that? Take him downtown.
That right there. Take him downtown. The moment the officers realize they've been played and they're done asking nicely. But here's what makes this segment hit different. Jennifer, the stepmother, is about to become the crack in Kenneth's wall. This is a woman who watched her stepdaughter bleed out on the floor, who stood in that apartment while Kenneth pointed fingers at her own nonverbal autistic son. And now, she's sitting in an interrogation room weighing loyalty against truth. What she does next takes something most people don't have. Because admitting your husband shot his daughter means admitting you've been protecting a killer. It means dismantling your own family to rebuild some version of justice. The exhaustion in that decision is profound. But integrity has a cost, and Jennifer is about to pay it.
Back and cruiser at the scene. All right. You guys are not being honest about what happened. Not in any way, shape, or form. I want to give you one opportunity to be honest with me about everything. Okay? And I mean everything.
It was Kenny.
I know that. That's only the beginning. That's only the beginning.
It was Kenny that shot her.
It was Kenny that shot you? I'm sorry, Kenny. Okay. I want to go back over a little bit of what we talked about previously, okay?
She breaks. It was him. 3 words that obliterate months of Kenneth's careful construction. And here's the thing about Jennifer's confession. It lands differently when you know what Kenneth was asking her to protect. This is a man with over 40 arrests. A man with an active warrant for cocaine trafficking issued 4 days before he killed his daughter. A man who looked at his nonverbal autistic stepson and thought, perfect scapegoat. Jennifer sat in that room and chose truth over a 20-year criminal who would have let her disabled son take the fall for murder. The detective doesn't even flinch. He knew. They all knew. Kenneth's story was never sustainable. It was just waiting for someone with a conscience to collapse it.
It was Kenny, not her son Wyatt, who pulled the trigger, which is bad for a number of reasons. One of them being that Kenneth shouldn't have had any guns in the first place. As a convicted felon, Kenny isn't allowed to possess a weapon. And when we say he's a convicted felon, we mean convicted. Over 20 years, from age 19 to 39, Kenneth was arrested 40 separate times on various charges, mainly drug trafficking. In fact, just 4 days before Kendra was killed, an arrest warrant was issued for Kenneth for failing to report to his parole officer, meaning that, had anyone done their job in those 4 days, Kendra never would have died at the hands of her father. Or had to witness the other illegal activity going on in the home leading up to her tragic death. Because it wasn't just guns that the family possessed in spades.
Now, I'm not going to go into the story that you told me previously because I don't know what's true, what's not true. I know a lot of it's not true. So I'm going to give you a chance to start again from the beginning. Okay, what was your guys' morning? What did you guys do?
We just kind of changed our clothes, sat around, Kendra was getting ready to go to the park with a friend.
Okay, and then when you sat around, were you guys in Kenneth's room?
Yes.
Okay. And describe Kenneth's room for me.
It's a big room with a couch and a bed and 3 TVs.
Okay. Is this the room where the shooting happened?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I've been just momentarily. I know where Kendra is located. The room that she's located in is at Kenneth's bedroom.
Yes.
Okay. So when the shooting happened, who all was in the room? Okay. What about Greg? You know Greg?
Yeah.
Was Greg in the room?
Yeah.
Okay. A little bit I want to get into what you told me a little bit earlier. You told me a story about that being Greg's shotgun and Greg having brought it in. Was that true? Okay. Whose shotgun is it?
It's Kenny's.
It's Kenny's. How long has Kenny had the shotgun?
A couple weeks.
A couple weeks. Okay. So you guys woke up around 10 o'clock or so. Did you guys do anything? I mean, you said you kind of changed clothes. Kendra was getting ready. Everybody was kind of in the room. What was going on in the room?
We were all just hanging out and he's getting ready to roll and smoke. And he was messing with his gun.
You said you were getting ready to smoke?
Yeah.
Smoke. Okay. Apparently a couple pills had fallen off and you were out of your pocket. You said there was.
I got on the table and just grabbed it real quick.
Okay. What kind of illegal drugs do you use? When was the last time you used?
Earlier today.
Okay, because your pupils are still dilated right now. So you woke up at 10. What time do you think you used?
10:30.
About 10:30. Okay. How much do you use?
Just a moment.
Just one. Is there more water somewhere? Or? Okay. Did you use anything else? No.
Yeah.
You guys had this point?
Yeah.
Okay. What about Kenny and drugs? What did he use? He used this morning? When's the last time you know that he used?
Last night.
About what time?
Probably around midnight.
Do you know if he has more room?
I don't know where he said if he has.
40 arrests. Let that land. From 19 to 39, Kenneth Farler treated the criminal justice system like a revolving door. Drug trafficking charges stacked like receipts. And 4 days before Kendra died, there was an active warrant out for him because he couldn't even be bothered to check in with his parole officer. 4 days. That's how close the system came to preventing this. Had anyone moved on that warrant, Kendra would be alive. Instead, she died in a home full of illegal guns and drugs. Guns a convicted felon was prohibited from possessing. In May 2025, Kenneth pleaded guilty. The court gave him the maximum, 24.5 to 28.5 years. He appealed. Ohio rejected it in March 2026. Justice arrived late for Kendra, but it arrived.
I was on the bed, and Kendra was standing in the doorway and ready to leave.
Where was Kenny?
He was next to me on the couch, and I was on the couch closest to the door.
So he was closer to the bed?
Yes.
Okay, and what's he doing?
He's messing with his
You say messing with it. What's he doing? I haven't even seen the gun. Are you familiar with the style, like a pump shotgun, where you like pump the front end of it to load and unload it?
So, yeah.
Okay, was he doing that, or was he loading and unloading the weapon?
He wasn't loading and unloading it. He said something about he didn't know if it was loaded, and he wanted to go do something with it, I think, to check if it was loaded. And I don't really know anything about guns, so I don't know what he was doing with it.
Did he point the gun at Kendra?
He was messing with her, and he said something to her, and then I don't know what he said, but then he shot kind of in my screen. I was looking at her, talking to her.
When you say he's messing with her, like, what was he doing?
I honestly don't know. I know he had the gun, she was telling him to put it down, and he was laughing at her or something, and next thing you know, she was on fire. And I couldn't hear her.
She was telling him to put the gun down?
Jennifer's words right there are the last piece of the puzzle. But this was never really about Kenneth or his lies or his 40 arrests. This was about Kendra, 15 years old, a daughter who deserved a father and got a predator instead. She lived in a home where the adults were supposed to protect her, and instead they surrounded her with felons and firearms and chaos. Kenneth will spend decades behind bars. Good. But no sentence fills the seat at graduation. No verdict brings back the girl who should be learning to drive right now. What was taken from Kendra's family cannot be returned. What we can do is remember her name, not as a case number, but as a child who mattered, who deserved so much more than this.
That you saw Kenny holding that shotgun when it went off, correct? I do this. Did you ever at any point touch the shotgun?
No, I don't think I ever heard the shotgun.
Okay. First off, I find it almost unbelievable that somebody would try to pin this one. All right. But I appreciate that. I understand a little bit with obviously him telling you. But I appreciate you being honest about it, all right? Because he doesn't have to live with that. That's not right. For people to think that he did this.
That's what I thought.
No matter what condition, that's not right. Sit back. Be just a minute,
The detective's words land quiet, but they land hard. He doesn't have to live with that. She's talking about the stepson, a nonverbal, autistic 15-year-old boy who Kenneth tried to turn into a murderer with nothing but a lie. This child cannot speak for himself, cannot articulate what happened, cannot defend his own name in a courtroom or anywhere else. And Kenneth knew that. He picked the one person in that house who literally could not contradict him. That's not desperation. That's targeting. The detective sees it. Jennifer finally sees it. And now we watch them walk down that hallway to confront the man who thought he could sacrifice 2 children in one afternoon, one to a shotgun and one to a false accusation.
Your wife is fine. We sit and talking to her. Kenneth, I'm the detective house that talked to you out there at the scene. All right? Obviously, I'm going to talk to you more because you guys weren't being honest out there. Don't start. Listen to me first. All right? Your stories made no sense. They were inconsistent. We spoke obviously to Greg too. All right? We just got to talk to your wife. So you go ahead and stop. Hold on, be quiet. And she told us the truth. Okay? The truth that we already knew. About what? About what happened to Kendra. Give me a
Your stories make no sense. 5 words and the interrogation room shifts. See what's happening here? The detective isn't asking questions anymore. He's announcing conclusions. Kenneth walked into this room thinking he could run the same playbook he'd perfected over 40 arrests. Deny, deflect, blame someone who can't fight back. But this detective has already talked to Jennifer, already talked to Greg, already knows the timeline doesn't hold. Kenneth built his entire defense on the assumption that a nonverbal autistic teenager would be the perfect fall guy. What he didn't account for is that investigators don't just interview one person, they interview everyone. And when your wife breaks before you do, when she tells them the truth you swore she'd never tell, that carefully constructed lie collapses in real time. Right here, right now.
All right, Kenneth, this is what we're going to do, okay? Whose shotgun is that? Whose shotgun is it? The truth. It's mine. It's yours. It was mine. How long have you had that shotgun? Couple days. Couple days? Okay. Where did you get it? Be honest with you, I don't know. You just got off the street? There was anything in it. You have any other guns? I don't. You don't have a black semi-auto? A black? Semi-auto handgun? A black one? I don't know, that's what Jennifer said was black. I haven't seen it. I did. Going on. It's gone? Yeah. So if there's any other guns in your room, who are those going to? If there's any other guns in our room,
oblivious to me.
You wouldn't know about any other guns in your room? Okay. So you had your gun about a couple of days, got it from some guy off the street. The room where this happened is your room, correct? And that would be the room that has the couch, the bed, and the TVs in it? And that's where Kendra was at, correct? Mm-hmm. All right. Kenneth, I want to give you an opportunity to just be completely honest about everything. Because I tell you what, Kenneth, look at me. Look, I don't care if you can see me well or not. If I would look in your eyes when I tell you this, it's bullshit to pin this on who had nothing to do with this.
Do what?
You heard exactly what I said. I'm giving you the opportunity right now to come clean about what actually happened, because I know what happened.
And you tell me what happened?
No, that's your job to do, to tell me, because you couldn't keep your story straight. You already lied to me about the shotgun. You lied to me about the rooms.
I lied to you about the shotgun.
You're right. You shouldn't have. But now let's be honest about the rest of the story. It's time to man up. And you're willing to do this to him?
Do this to him?
Yeah.
I think it's fault.
You're right. Because he never had the shotgun, you did. Kendra even told you to put it down. It's time to be a man. Admit what happened. I already told you where your wife's at. She was sitting in the room right next to you over there. We just got done talking to her. She was placed right back in the room right next door to you before we brought you out. That's where she's at.
And you're telling me she said I did this?
Absolutely. This is amazing. She told the truth.
This is my daughter.
Yeah, I heard you sit there and mumble about that when you sat down. That's why I told you just be quiet. Because I couldn't stand and sit there and listen to you talk that bullshit, and you're the one responsible for her death. Be a man.
It was an accident.
Then be a man and talk about it.
So,
I imagine it is. But you can't do this. That's a hard enough life already. Not allowed for him to walk around people.
That was an accident. 4 words, and Kenneth thinks he's crossed the finish line. He doesn't realize he just handed them everything. See, in Ohio, involuntary manslaughter still carries serious time, and for a felon with weapons charges stacked on top, Kenneth's looking at decades either way. But here's what the detective understands that Kenneth doesn't. Admitting you pulled the trigger while claiming accident doesn't erase the illegal shotgun you bought off some guy days earlier. It doesn't erase the other firearms investigators will find. Kenneth spent 40 arrests learning how to wriggle out of drug charges. He never learned that homicide detectives don't negotiate. They collect. And he just gave them the confession they needed.
and there's a pepper on the side of it. Did you push up to jagged shells?
Okay.
And when I was ejecting the shells, nothing came out.
So you like racking the shotgun? They call racking the shotgun?
So I ejected shells out of it.
And nothing was coming out?
Nothing came out of it. Nothing came out when I did it. And the last time I put it forward, it went off.
Did I hit Kendra? Let me ask you this, Kendra. Were you playing around pointing the gun at her?
No.
Jennifer said you were.
I didn't point it at her. I was holding it in a gentle direction. I had to.
She said you were messing with her and Kendra was telling you to put the gun down.
No, that's not true. That is not true.
Why would she say that?
Maybe she just wasn't paying attention to exactly what was going on.
Or maybe you just were 100% certain in your head that the gun wasn't loaded.
But I didn't actually, there was no point in nothing like that. I had it like this.
And I'm not saying you had to put it in your shoulder.
I pushed the lever up. I pumped it 6 times. And normally it ejects all the shells out of it. And it didn't. And when I pulled the pump forward the last time, I don't know if my finger was on the trigger. I really honestly don't remember it. It went on.
At no point had you pointed it at Kendra.
No, I would never point gun.
Did she ever tell you to put the gun down or quit messing with it?
I didn't either. If she did, I didn't.
Okay.
The gun, the TV was over. And I would never do something like that on purpose. I would never.
Here's where the mask slips completely. Kenneth goes from, "I didn't know the gun was loaded," to demonstrating exactly how he racked the shotgun 6 times. 6. That's not an accident. That's familiarity. A man who claims ignorance about firearms doesn't casually describe the ejection mechanism. And when the detective brings up what witnesses actually saw, Kenneth's response is telling. Maybe she just wasn't paying attention. He's not defending himself anymore. He's attacking a 15-year-old girl's credibility from beyond the grave. His own daughter told him to put the gun down. Kendra saw what was coming. She tried to stop it. And Kenneth's defense is that she wasn't paying attention? The investigators don't need to break him. He's doing it himself.
You after the shotgun?
I dropped it and ran straight to her. I grabbed it and took my shirt off. And I lifted up the shirt and I put it inside. And I started holding it. I started screaming, "Call 911." And I started giving her CPR. My wife goes to school for medical assisting, and she's learning, all that stuff. And she came over and started helping do CPR.
And that's him. That's Kenneth Paul Farler III in his final moments of pretending, talking about CPR and his wife's medical training and how they tried to save her. The performance continues right up until the cuffs go on. But here's what strikes me about this whole thing. He never once in any of this footage asks if Kendra is okay. He never asks the officers for updates. He never begs anyone to tell him his daughter survived. Because he already knew. He knew what a shotgun blast to the chest does to a 15-year-old girl. He knew before the ambulance arrived. The evidence against Kenneth wasn't circumstantial. It was overwhelming. His own wife broke and told investigators the truth. His timeline contradicted every other witness in the house. He demonstrated mechanical familiarity with a weapon he claimed to know nothing about. And his defense? Blaming a nonverbal autistic teenager who physically cannot contradict the accusation, collapsed the moment anyone with a conscience was questioned separately. In May 2025, Kenneth pleaded guilty to involuntary manslaughter, reckless homicide, endangering children, and multiple counts of having weapons while under disability. The judge gave him the maximum, 24.5 to 28.5 years. His appeal in March 2026 went nowhere. The Ohio Court of Appeals looked at his claims that he didn't understand his plea and essentially said, "No, you understood. You're staying where you are." 40 arrests between ages 19 and 39, cocaine trafficking, probation violations, an active warrant issued 4 days before Kendra died. The system knew who Kenneth was. It just couldn't move fast enough to protect his daughter from him. But this case was never really about Kenneth. It was about Kendra May Farler, 15 years old, a daughter, a sister, a kid who saw her father point a shotgun and told him to put it down. She recognized the danger before anyone else in that room. And she was right. She deserved so much more than the adults around her provided. She deserved a home without illegal firearms, without felons on active warrants, without a father who would rather sacrifice 2 children than face consequences for his own choices. Kendra should be learning to drive right now. She should be thinking about graduation and what comes after. Instead, her name lives on in court documents and sentencing records and videos like this one. That's the cost. Not just the years Kenneth will serve, but the years Kendra will never have. If this case got to you the way it got to me, then I think you'll find the next one just as compelling. It's another situation where someone thought they'd built the perfect cover story until the wife accidentally said something only the killer would know. One slip. That's all it took. I'll leave that linked for you. Rest easy, Kendra. Justice came late, but it came.